gnocchi,
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 gnocchi.
gnocchi.
Alright guys, this time I'll be making gnocchi 3 different ways. The first steps are to get a pot of salted water boiling, and then peel and dice your potatoes. It is very important to start off with good potatoes because it's the foundation of the gnocchi. I recommend Yukon Gold because I think they have more flavor than russet potatoes, but russet potatoes will work just as well in this recipe. The only advice I have for this step is that you should make sure to keep your potato pieces around the same size so they cook evenly. Once diced, drop your potatoes in boiling water until they're fork tender. Once they're done cooking, go ahead and mash the potatoes. You could use a potato ricer or a food mill for this step. It would definitely be a lot quicker, but mashing them is totally fine as long as you make sure that everything is completely smooth. When you're done processing the potatoes, go ahead and put them in a bowl to cool down. You could use a fork to mix the potatoes to make them cool faster, and also to mash any pieces you've missed. You'll know when the potatoes are ready to be used when you could squeeze the potatoes without burning your hand. Making the dough is pretty straightforward. Combine 1 jumbo egg with 1 cup of mashed potatoes, and then add in the flour little by little. Once the flour is incorporated, put the dough on a floured surface and knead the dough for about 2 minutes. You don't want to overwork the dough or add too much flour because it will make the gnocchi dense and chewy. The finished dough should be soft enough so that if you leave a handprint in the dough, it stays there. Cover the dough and let it chill in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. To make the pumpkin gnocchi, you would want to follow the same steps, but use a half cup of pumpkin puree and a half cup of mashed potatoes. For the spinach gnocchi, add 1 cup of chopped spinach with 1 cup of mashed potatoes, and then follow the previous steps. Once the dough is chilled, cut a portion of it off and roll it into a log. You could technically make the gnocchi any size you want, but I make mine about a ½ inch thick and 1 inch long. To make the arrabiata, start with generous amounts of olive oil, add chopped garlic and dried chilies or red chili paste. Put it on high heat and stir constantly. Once fragrant, add in your tomato puree and continue to stir. When your gnocchi are floating, it's time to let them simmer in the sauce for a few seconds before serving. For the pumpkin gnocchi, we're going to make a brown butter sauce with sage and shiitake mushrooms. Start by melting butter in a hot pan, and then adding in your mushrooms and sage. It's important to keep an eye on the temperature so you're just browning the butter and not burning it. Once your butter is brown and nutty, and your gnocchi are floating, go ahead and drop them in the pan so they can get a little bit of a sear on them and so they could absorb some of the butter, then serve. For the spinach gnocchi, we're going to be making a Gorgonzola cream sauce. Start by making a roux by mixing melted butter and flour. Once fragrant, continue to whisk in cream until thickened. If it's too thick, you can always add more cream. Once the cream is to your preferred thickness, crumble in some Gorgonzola. Just like with the previous 2 recipes, once your gnocchi are floating, add them to the sauce to simmer for a few seconds, and then serve. Gnocchi is a very easy form of pasta to make. You can make them look super fancy or rustic. All that really matters is the texture and how they taste. I have a list of ingredients and exact amounts in the description of the video. If you liked the video, leave a thumbs up and share. If you have any requests, subscribe and let me know in the comments.